Here inside Quicken Loans Arena, Cavs have made it 2 in a row. They beat the Washington Wizards tonight, 113-87. It's the second time in 6 nights the Cavs have played the Wizards, but this time it's a completely different result. Chris Fedor, Joe Vardon, Chris Haynes with you to recap this one. And Chris, the Cavs talked about being more aggressive, hitting first. They did that, and unlike in some games past, they didn't let up.
They definitely did. I can think you can see that it was going to be a long break. They've been used to custom playing every other day, and the next game is not till Saturday. Thanksgiving coming up, got a long time to think about. You know, if they would have lost, a long time to think about it and try to process it. But they came out here, man, like this was their last game of the season. And I think that's the type of approach they need to take, you know, going forward. It's easy to do that for one game, but trying to sustain that and keep that up, that's for a long period of time, that's going to be the challenge for them. But tonight, they did what they needed to do to get the win.
And, Joe, just like in the game against Orlando, it all started with LeBron. He had the aggressive mentality, getting to the free throw line early, getting his teammates involved early, looking for his own offense. He just seems like a different guy in the last 2 games.
He really does. And we should preface this by saying he had some good games before this week. Mm-hmm. But what an amazing week for him. And he shows this whole week what he can really mean. I mean, if you think about it, he starts off the week by saying, "We're losing, so I stink." Then he takes it upon himself to set the tone against Orlando, which we've gone over. And then, and Chris can certainly speak about this, and he's written about it as well as I, then he comes out as he transcends sports by talking about some really hot button, you know, well, it's not personal for him, but for social issues. Like, he really takes a stand that transcends sports. And then he comes out here again, and he's playing like he owes the Cavs fans something. I mean, it's really this what we're seeing this last week is why everyone was so excited.
And LeBron tonight, folks, 29 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, another near triple-double. Another great performance, and it seems like, even though, Chris, people have downplayed the Washington Wizards rivalry, it seems like when playing against this team and playing against Paul Pierce, it brings out something different in LeBron.
Yeah, it definitely did. And, you know, the Wizards and the Cavaliers, they do have some type of history. And now the fact that the Wizards are relevant again, and then you add over the other component of Paul Pierce coming over to the Washington Wizards, I definitely think we will see these 2 teams in the playoffs somehow. I think and it's really going to be interesting. You've seen a little bit of bad blood. You've seen John Wall going at it with Tristan Thompson. You've seen Bradley Beal and Dion Waiters having some words. These are clearly 2 teams that don't like each other. And it can get worse. You remember going back to preseason to talk about who had the best backcourt. You know, there's still some history with those teams as well. So it's going to be a real riveting matchup, you know, when we get to that point. But as of right now, the Cavs took care of business. They did what they needed to do, and I can't wait till the next time they play.
And you know, Joe, I think the other important thing just in tonight's game in particular, 113-87 against the Washington Wizards, you look at this box score, 6 players in double figures for the Cavs. It's not just the big 3 of LeBron James, Kevin Love, and Kyrie-Irving. Other guys are getting involved.
Well, absolutely. I mean, Anderson Varejao, I mean, there are times where you watch him and think, if it weren't for LeBron, he might be the best guy out there. I mean, you know he's not, but that's how good he's playing. And you're right. You're starting to see that gelling process. Now, we said the same thing after Atlanta. We did. And then they came out and played 4 games that were terrible. So it's too early to say they're back or they've arrived or whatever. But I also think that what we saw in those 4 games was a combination of some quickly budding negativity more so than this team being overly flawed. They are flawed. The Cavs are flawed, but they're also really good. I think they can be.
John Wall in the first meeting between the 2 teams, guys, he had 28 points. He had 6 rebounds, 7 assists. He really controlled the game in the first one. Tonight the Cavs put the target on his back. Kyrie-Irving wanted the challenge of checking John Wall. Yeah. And you look at John Wall's final box score here, 6 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds. Kyrie-Irving did a pretty good job, Chris.
This was the second time I've seen this out of Kyrie come into a game with a defensive mentality. First time was against Tony Parker. And we see what he did with Tony Parker. Tony Parker has similar numbers. Come out here against John Wall, man. Kyrie-Irving played solid, efficient, technical defense. He didn't give up any driving lanes, and when John Wall did get a step on him, Kyrie-Irving knew that he had help on his backside. So he only took risks when he had to and when he knew he had help from the back. He played really smart, and at the same time, he still stayed aggressive and was still able to put up some quality numbers offensively. If Kyrie-Irving could continue this and take the challenge every single game, because the point guard, this is a point guard league right now. LeBron talked about that, man. You know, you have to bring it every night. If he can do that and take it personal and take exception every night, this team is going to be tough to beat.
Let me play the role of Fedor here for a minute and ask Chris. At times tonight, I mean, you've covered the finals. You've been into the playoffs a bunch. At times tonight, did you see perimeter defense like you might see in the playoffs from the Cavs? I mean, to me, it seemed like Washington was having trouble making the pass into the paint.
Yeah, you would hope so. They definitely play that type of defense. You look at, that's the main thing we always talked about, for perimeter defense lacking and getting inside the paint, and they don't have any rim protection. They didn't need rim protection tonight because they weren't getting past the initial line of defense. So, no, it's definitely, that was a good point. It's definitely looked like it was a playoff-type atmosphere as far as defense is on point. I don't know what got into those guys. I don't know if they're ready to get to those turkeys for Thanksgiving and make sure they got these guys out early. I don't know what it is, but whatever they did out there, they got to keep that up.
So many people have talked about defense. It's been a running theme for this team. David Blatt, Kevin Love, Kyrie-Irving, LeBron James. There is a board inside the locker room here inside the Q of defensive field goal percentage. The Cavs a couple of nights ago were 28th. They came into tonight 25th. LeBron James said after tonight we're probably going to be moving up. Everybody understands that defense wins championships. That's still something that the Cavs have to continue to improve on, but signs of it tonight as they win 113-87 against the Washington Wizards. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Chris Haynes is going to get his grub on right now. Joe's probably going to smoke a turkey tomorrow, and I'm just going to bring the pop to my place. For Joe Vardon, Chris Haynes, I'm Chris Fedor. Good night from Quicken Loans Arena.